You are listening to Waywut? This is a weekly rabbit hole podcast that goes into a variety of topics ranging from the supernatural to sports to science or anything else that we find interesting. We post episodes every Tuesday. We post on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Pandora. Please follow us on any of those. If you prefer video, you can always subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you want to talk to us or keep up with any random information we decide to talk about, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever it's called, under @Waywut Podcast. That does it for all the self-promotion stuff. Thank you for listening, and here we go. Hello, and welcome to Waywut. My name is Darrell, which, if you're just now coming in on this episode, that's kind of a weird episode to come in on, but whatever.
Jump in when you can.
Yeah. I'm here along with the Manson family's lost foster child, Jason.
Here I am with some penis cola.
Just for the taste of it.
A stiff penis cola tonight.
I don't know if everybody will get that, but if you don't, then follow us on other things. Because
Yes.
it's on the Facebook and it's on the YouTube.
Yep.
And then you'll understand that little inside joke about Jason and his penis cola. All right, so I guess we can just hop right into this one. Since, I don't really feel like talking that much about penis cola. So I am a true crime fan. I think pretty much everybody is nowadays, or at least most people. It's just
absolutely, it's everywhere.
Yeah, it's super popular on podcasts, super popular on YouTube, and of course, you still got all your documentaries and your TV shows like The Killer Next Door and Deadly
48
Bride,
Hours, yeah,
Angry Woman, whatever the fuck they call those things. And whenever it comes to watching those, there's some parts of it aside from like, hey, I want to make money on like other people's blood and stuff. Not that I'm saying they do that, but kind of are. But we all are. Who cares? So it's more of this whole thing about victim blaming. So I get where victim blaming can be a problem, but I think when it comes to a lot of true crime documentaries and podcasts and videos and whatever, they go a bit too far with it. I mean, when it comes to victim blaming, you don't blame a woman for dressing the way she wants if she gets assaulted. Makes sense. You don't blame a person for getting their car stolen because it was too nice. Neighborhood. Or it's like, oh, you have such a nice car. Of course that's going to happen. Or, you got mugged because you wear too good of clothes.
Yeah, you have not watch on.
Yeah. And you don't blame a kid that gets groomed, I mean, seriously. I mean, like, what kid isn't going to want free candy? So when it comes to that, with me being this avid true crime fan, I watch lots of documentaries. I watch all sorts of just stuff on YouTube, and I listen to, I have my favorite true crime podcasts that I listen to all the time. But one thing that every single damn one of them are guilty of is painting every victim in like this rose tinted light. Like they're just, like, oh,
the shit don't stink.
Yeah, they're just like perfect freaking angels. You hear things like, he was a sweet and loving father that just hit hard times. So he spent 3 days a week in a crack house until he was murdered by that evil crackhead.
Yeah, they gloss over the bad stuff.
Yeah, just a smidge. I mean, and I think what I really, taking in as much as I've taken in, there are some victims that deserve to be blamed to an extent. I mean, I'm not saying, just because you get murdered, you deserved it. But, it's like if someone's driving, too fast on a road and someone jumps in front of that car, the person that jumped in front of the car is to blame, but also the person that was driving too fast to stop. So, I mean, they both hold a little bit of blame. I mean, I'm sorry, but, if you're, like a gay guy, and you keep hearing about like how gay guys keep going missing in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and then you just go home with some random weirdo looking blonde dude that has lots of power drills and his house smells like fucking rot. I mean, come on.
It probably smells like ass too.
Yeah. But I mean, like, if like, I was a swinging single guy, and I'm glad I'm alive. But at those times, you bring a stranger home, whether it's for a hookup or just trying to be charitable, you're taking a risk.
A charitable hookup?
Well, no, not charitable hookup, but just being charitable. Like, oh, you poor person, you're gonna freeze out here. Whatever.
She
You're
may have
taking.
thought it was a charitable hookup.
Oh no, not charitable hookup. But whenever you bring a stranger into your house, you're taking a risk. And if it
Mm-hmm.
blows up in your face, then you own part of that. I'm sorry, but whenever I'm sitting there doing all
Should
my
have known
swipe
better.
rights and stuff like that, and I'm like, okay, I've had like a day's worth of text messages with this person. They could be locked in my house with me.
Now, what could go wrong?
No, nothing.
It could never happen to me.
Well, and I think my main problem with this, and it isn't just because I'm some crotchety dickwad that, is like, we should blame the victims. There's a value to victim blaming. There's value for it. When you're a kid and there's a story about a kid getting hit by a car, what did your mom tell you?
You want to be like that kid?
Yeah, but what was the lesson?
And look both ways.
Yeah. That's why you look both ways before you cross the street. You don't look both ways before you cross the street, you're road pizza. And what is it that you say whenever you're watching a horror movie and someone stabs the killer in their side? And then after the killer falls down, the person drops the knife right next to the killer's hand and walks away.
Absolutely. And they sit there with their back turned to them.
Yeah, and they're an idiot and they deserve some of the blame. This is the same thing.
Absolutely.
This is why, and this is, lessons for, our tens of listeners. If you're going to do like, a dating app entanglement, this is why, you text a
Call
picture.
it what it is.
You text a picture of that date's driver's license to a friend before running off to have sex with that stranger. It's not hard. I straight up did that once. Somebody was like, hey, my sister wants your address, because I don't know you. And I'm all like, boom. And I just stuck my driver's license right on the table. And she took a picture of it and sent her sister.
Yeah, the only picture you took and sent to her that day? I sure hope so.
I married that woman.
Okay, good.
I married that woman. So
well, good. Now it turned out well.
Yeah, it turned out all right.
Like you didn't send that pic then.
Well, no. Typically, this is a tangent, but whenever I would send unsolicited dick pics, it was always of like Richard Nixon. Or an unsolicited shower picture was a picture of my shower head, or an unsolicited cock pic was, of course, of a rooster. I didn't go around sending pictures of my wing to people. That's just weird. All right. Anyways, back to so send a picture of driver's license of your date to somebody else before you go walking off into their house and accidentally discovering their sex dungeon.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
This is why you toss a homeless person a couple bucks or a bag of McDonald's and not bring them into your house and make them dinner. That's the charitable thing I was talking about.
Okay.
People will sit there and be like, oh, I feel bad for this person. I'm going to bring them in. The homeless person's like, me and Fred like this.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
And this is also why you just don't join a cult. I'm sorry if you do any of those things, you do risky behavior, you join a cult. I don't feel bad for you. I don't.
Yeah.
If,
read a history book.
Yeah. Watch true crime and actually try to learn from it. I mean, I do believe we should all feel bad for a person getting murdered or assaulted or whatever, but the situation needs to be assessed with honesty. I mean, I get that we want to be nice for the victims' families, or not look like we're just, profit mongering off of horrific acts. But like I said, you kind of are, but it's okay. The audience wants it, so it should be there. There's more value in creating a stigma for bad choices than trying to make everybody a blameless Peggy Sue that just didn't deserve whatever happened to him.
It's more about not wanting to shame the dead, maybe. I want
I mean,
to speak ill of the dead.
I think
Right?
it's more about appearances. They don't want
They
to.
can't take up for themselves now.
No,
That
no, fuck that. I think it is more that they don't want to look like shitty people whenever they're doing the podcast thing or whatever, and they don't want to be like, okay, yeah, that was kind of a dumb move. Going back to that guy that broke both of your arms and then stabbed your kid in the asshole with a butcher knife. Yes, that person's an idiot and deserved whatever happened to him. And they're just, they don't want to say that because, then you're an asshole. But at the same time, everybody's parents are assholes too, and try to guide them on the right path. And people should not want to be labeled as an idiot that got killed because they decided to meet their former prison pen pal in the middle of the woods for a hike. Yeah. Please meet me in the middle of the forest off of the dirt path. Signed, your friend T-Bone.
don't tell anybody.
It's a secret hike in my secret hiking place. Just stand in the hole that's already there.
Yeah.
But, if you do anything that's stupid, like you meet up with T-Bone in the middle of the freaking woods and hang out in the pre-dug grave, you do deserve what you get. And
Yeah.
you deserve that horrible label. I mean, it's just, of being the moron that got killed. So,
Yep.
So it felt really good to kind of get that out because I always yell at my TV like, old guys yell at football games like, God, what are you doing? I do the same thing when I'm watching true crime. Oh, you idiot. Why would you? Oh my God.
That's not how you dispose of a body. What are you doing?
Well, no, it's not that. It's usually like the idiot that gets killed. It's like the one's like, well, she'd had a troubled life, but she loved her kids that were taken away from her because she couldn't give up heroin, and all that. I'm like, oh my God, of course she died.
Yeah.
All right. Well, all right. Enough of that. I'm an asshole. I know. It's okay.
Yeah. I'm an asshole too.
Yeah. So
we're
today,
all assholes on this ship.
couple of assholes.
Yep.
So today I'll be telling you about a pretty terrible person that's named Charles Albright.
Charles Albright.
Yep. This one is local for us because he, spoilers, was a serial killer in Dallas. A serial killer. Serial. Okay, sorry. You're taking notes.
Write down the name.
Uh-huh.
A serial killer in Dallas.
Yes.
Got it. Local
Charles
for us.
Albright. All right. Well, we'll start with the beginning because that's always the fun part. Every time there's a true crime thing, they're always like, Charles Albright was born in Amarillo, Texas in 1933. I'm not doing that voice in the entire time.
Every good story should start at the beginning.
Well, yeah, of course. All right, but he was a Texan. He was born in Amarillo in 1933. His birth mother, according to his adopted mother, all right, so this is
already red flags.
Yeah, according to because of the way I phrased it, according to his adopted mother, was a 16-year-old law student. Which ding, ding, ding. What? A 16-year-old law student that secretly married a guy and got knocked up because God knows when you get married, the first thing you would do is like give your kids up for adoption. So makes sense. If you can't tell by what I'm saying, his adopted mother was lying. What we do know about the birth mother is eventually she was a nurse, and that's about all I could find out about her. So the reason I'm pointing it out is that, she wasn't like some crazy psychopath. So we can't sit there and say, well, it's genetics. Because I really don't think that was the case on this one.
Did you say why she was giving it up? Because she got married, and that's what she was giving up?
According to according to the adopted mother, it was because the 16-year-old law student secretly got married without her parents knowing, and then got pregnant, and then didn't want anybody finding out. Which
is bullshit. It's bullshit. It's not true at all. I don't know why. I mean, more than likely, she was a kid that got knocked up too young, and it was in 1933. So they're kind of if you're an unwed woman with a bun in the oven, you were kind of like the devil.
Shunned. Yeah. Wear that
So
A.
yeah,
Well, did you say she was 16-year-old and is a law student?
that's why I'm saying it's bullshit, dude.
Oh,
I don't know how many ways I got to tell you that
I'm like, that's kind
his
of glossed
adopted
over
mom was
fact there. That's
lying. Yeah, no,
impressive.
his adopted mom was a liar.
Okay.
That's the
I think
important
we've
thing to pick
established
up
that.
here. She was a liar,
Liar.
and her name was Dell. Charles was adopted by Dell and Fred Albright. They were from Oak Cliff, and for you folks that are not from Dallas, it's a neighborhood in Dallas. So some parts of it are really nice, and some parts you feel lucky to leave alive. That's
Yeah.
what kind of area, and it's a very weird place. Like one street's like mansions, you go next street over, and it's like, oh my god, there's drug deals happening right in the middle of the street, and everything's a shack.
Yeah.
It's really
My
weird.
chiropractor used to be there.
Ew.
Well, not in that part. In the good part.
He was in the good part.
He was in the good part.
They adopted Charles whenever he was just 3 weeks old, so they had him pretty much from the get-go. Charles felt that his adopted mother pampered him. She never wanted him to feel like he was going to be abandoned, which I've seen adopted mothers do, where they're just like, they remember. It's like they were 3 weeks old. Shut up. You don't remember this. Dell was not just a liar, but she was weird, and she was not always very nice.
Oh.
So this I put this under weird, but she would only give him goat milk because she said it was healthier for him. If he wouldn't drink it, he'd get hit. I mean, aside from the goat milk part, I mean, it's pretty standard for 1930s parenting. You didn't do what I said, I'm going to hit you. But I just thought the goat milk thing was weird because.
Well, I drank goat milk when I was a baby.
You did?
I had an acid reflux. I couldn't keep regular milk down.
So did I. I think I had to have soy formula or something.
Yeah. Well, according to my mom, I drank goat milk.
Okay. I'm going to start keeping an eye on you. All right. She would take him to the hospital to see polio patients while they were in those big iron lungs to make sure he never touched dog poop. That was the lesson she wanted him to learn.
You got polio.
I did do some looking. It can be contracted by touching an infected person's poop, but not dog poop. So unless
you shouldn't be touching dog poop anyway.
It's a good lesson to learn not to touch dog poop. But I mean, unless a guy with polio takes a dump on a dog dump, you could just grab a handful and not get polio. You might get other things like worms or something, but you won't get polio. When Charles was less than a year old, so teething age, nice little flashbacks to that. She locked him in a dark room for chewing on her measuring tape.
Naughty.
I mean, teething age, so he's less than a year old. Probably can't walk yet. There are some weirdo kids like my nephew that walk at 10 months old. But how do you lock a kid in a dark room whenever that age? I mean, they're just going to I don't know. Either they're going to get into more stuff unless it's an empty room, and then they're just probably going to bang their head into things or go to sleep.
Or become Harry Potter. You just never know.
If he would not take a nap, she would tie him to his bed. Now, as a parent, I get this. I get the desire to do it, but you don't do it.
When they won't stay down.
Yeah, it's like
have had some straps.
I mean, every parent is like dear God, will you please go to sleep so I can have 2 seconds to myself? I really need to take a crap, or whatever the case may be. it's one of those things that you think about, but you don't do it.
Yeah.
You know.
Called... No, continue. I'm sorry.
Oh no. It's like those weird invasive thoughts. I forget what they're called too.
Call of the Void.
Call the void. Yeah, it's kind of like whenever you're on a have you been on a cruise yet?
Just one.
So whenever you're out in the ocean and you see like that oil rig off in the distance, you're like, there's that part of you. It's like, I bet I could swim
there.
I could swim to that. It's like really like 150 miles away and you would die. But it's like, yeah, the call of the void.
Yeah, that's actually a precursor to another topic.
Oh, ooh.
Oh,
Teasers.
Yep.
All right. Well, Dell, the adopted mama, did not mellow out whenever he hit his teens, because what parent ever does? She would always chaperone his dates.
Weird.
To ensure that he didn't try anything.
Even weirder.
She would lecture him about not being what she called greedy with sex.
You say greedy?
Greedy with sex.
Like he was horny?
She would complain to her son that whenever his adopted father, Fred, would see her in her underwear, he would try to grab her.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she did not want him being that kind of man.
How dare him?
First of all, who was the one that was actually being greedy with sex here? All right. If greed is whenever you hold on to something and you don't let it go.
Yep.
So, bitch, you're the greedy one.
Yeah,
sound like Fred was more of the giving type, bitch. Second, at this point, they'd already been married for over a decade. And that means he was still attracted to her. That she didn't appreciate the fact that her middle-aged ass was still getting groped by her husband.
Yeah.
You unappreciative cow.
Absolutely.
I'm not a Dell fan. I mean, not Adele, but this Darrell Albright. I'm not a fan of this woman. I hate her.
No.
Sorry, I don't mean to go off on tangents.
No G. She gets no G.
No, she bad. Dell, and I'm going to spend a lot of time on his mom because this dude obviously has mommy issues.
Dell was serial killers do.
Yeah. Dell was also very passionate about Charles' success. He had to practice the piano 30 minutes every morning before his school bus arrived. So, he didn't get to sit around, watch cartoons, and eat cereal.
Not terrible.
Yeah. She taught him at home when he was out of school, so like, oh, yay, school's done. And she's like, nope, that's not enough school. So she would teach him more. And so much, in fact, that he skipped 2 grades in elementary school.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
He got ahead. So I don't know if Dell was like the the stereotypical Asian parent, but she give him a run for their money.
Yeah, maybe a little overbearing, but still the kid succeeded on that one.
Okay, well now we're gonna go for the cherry on top of the How to Raise a Psycho Sunday. All right. When Charles was 11, she enrolled Charles in a taxidermy course.
All right, just what every 11-year-old wants to do.
Yeah, she looked at it as an art form, So,
is it?
It's like art, yeah, of course, like taking corpses and stuffing them and.
But you're not putting them in a funny pose.
That's art.
But you're not putting them in playing baseball or anything. You're just making them look like they would in real life.
I'm just saying what she said.
I'm just picturing them in art, how it would look. A raccoon.
Yeah. Well,
stuffed.
Dude, there's
sitting on a couch or something.
No, there's places where you can get stuff like that. But I remember Denise telling me about something whenever thing she went to, and they had taxidermy squirrels playing volleyball or something.
Oh yeah, that's great.
That's art.
Yes,
that is art.
That is art. Continue.
Right, well, they would work on dead birds that he found, which I'm probably found. I mean, we all know what serial killers like to do when they're kids. They're like, Kill the birds.
By the way, we do those quotation marks at the exact same time.
Yeah. Oh, for those of you that aren't watching the video, one, go watch the video. Two, we did air quotes.
And we're not even looking at each other.
No, I'm trying not to look at you.
You're not. You haven't looked at me one damn time. Not once.
I'm looking at you.
No, you're not. And there you are.
This is not. You're over here. Anyway.
Oh, I missed your eyes.
Shut up. She taught him how to skin the birds and scoop their brains out.
Skin birds.
And something that will come up later, how to remove their eyes from their sockets. And boy, did Charles like the eyes.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. When they would go to a taxidermy shop, which I can see why that's a thing, but I'm still kind of surprised that that's an actual thing. You know, like it has its own entire shop.
Can you imagine the smell of that place? Holy crap.
Well, no, this is more like the materials. I've been to plenty of taxidermy places where they will taxidermy something for you, but I've never been to like where you get taxidermy supplies, that's where I'm going with this. Because when they would get there, he would stare at all the fake eyes and wanted to collect them the way that like other kids collected marbles or baseball cards.
Naturally.
Yeah. But of course, you know, Dell, who, you know, can't stand it when anybody has any fun because she's just a horrible, rotten bitch, would not get him any eyes because they were too expensive. So they would stuff and mount all these lifelike birds, but give them all buttons for eyes.
Oh.
How the hell are you supposed to stay sane in a house full of dead birds with button eyes? I mean, that's like making your kid watch Coraline 6 times a day throughout their entire childhood.
Oh,
you're going to raise a psychopath.
Yeah, no wonder.
Oh, my God. All right. And this is where we will leave Dell, although I'd much rather leave her dead in the ditch. But now, you know, just based on this crazy cunt, I'm kind of like wanting to do like a series of shows just about the mothers of serial killers.
Ooh, yeah.
Maybe. We'll see. If I feel like it.
Do a compare and contrast?
As far as I'm concerned,
we could keep score. Do a bingo. Psycho Mom bingo.
Maybe. The thing is, then you come across people like Ted Bundy that had perfectly normal, loving parents. So, you never know.
Never know. Could be on something.
Now, here is the part where I will tell you about little Charlie Albright, who spent his childhood cutting up animals, but that's not actually the case, you know, outside of the taxidermy, as far as we know. I mean, there's part of me, though, that wonders with that story if his mom just kind of happened to catch him, like, cutting up little animals and then was like, oh, let me steer this into a more positive action. So that like I don't have a kid that's just out in the backyard, like, bashing mice corpses with rocks or something.
Kind of like a beginning of Dexter.
Maybe. So Charles was known as an incredibly bright but mischievous kid, you know, because back in the 40s and stuff. Think you dang mischievous little rapscallion.
Kids weren't bad. They were mischievous.
Yeah. Well, remember how he skipped some grades? He graduated high school at the age of 15.
Very nice.
He did that despite getting lots of bad conduct grades. He was not a very well-behaved boy.
Well, they just wanted him out.
Maybe. He did flunk a few courses because he found them boring. His mother never found out that he flunked those courses because he would steal blank report cards from the office and fill them with A's and then forge the teacher's signature.
Oh, back in the day.
When you could forge signatures and stuff.
Yeah, when report cards came on paper and you could...
Yeah, no, I changed at least one grade on a report card, and I definitely forged my parents' signatures on different things that had to be, that I didn't want them to see. Sorry, Mom. You know, maybe if you're actually listening now, maybe, you know, whatever. All right. He, air quotes again, accidentally set his chemistry teacher's dress on fire. Yeah, I
No.
couldn't find the full story on this, but I had to mention this because I've never set anyone on fire before, accidentally on fire before, let alone a teacher. It seems like it'd be kind of a hard thing to do.
Yeah. It'd be much easier to buy a poisonous plant or something.
Don't you bring that up. We're not going to talk about this. We're not going to talk about that.
Sorry.
Now, I mean, how does one do this without, like smoking cigarettes? I mean, I guess that'd be one way, put it up. But I mean, I figure it's got to be a Bunsen burner thing, but still, Bunsen burner here, dress over here. It has to be on purpose.
Yes. Maybe a beaker was filled with something. He threw it on the ground.
Maybe.
Right.
At 13 years old, he was convicted of aggravated assault. Such a mischievous boy.
Oh, naughty, naughty.
Yeah. His explanation for it was he did it to show off to the older kids.
Boys will be boys.
Yeah, it's like, look, guys, I can kick somebody's head in. It's not hard. Once he got to college, he went to the North Texas State College in Denton, Texas, which is now UNT.
Go mean green.
Yeah. He got busted his freshman year for being part of a student burglary ring. So mischievous. The ring was accused of breaking into 3 stores and stealing hundreds of dollars in merchandise. And this is like, the 1950s, hundreds of dollars.
Okay, so that's quite a bit.
Yeah, that's like
blue jeans and t-shirts.
$1 billion in today's money. Like you back then, you could buy like gum for like a penny, and now you got to take out a mortgage just to get a pack of like juicy fruit. So
yeah.
Charles claimed to only be storing some of the items for the burglary ring, but the law wasn't buying it. I mean, he tried to do the whole like, that's not my weed, it's my friend's. I was holding it for my friend. And they never buy that.
Oh, no.
No.
Not when you're smoking it.
No. Now, Dell, in perfectly Dell fashion, I mean, I guess Dell was like the Karen of the 50s. She busted her ass trying to save his ass. She tried to act as his lawyer.
Okay.
She went to the store owners offering to reimburse them for the stolen items.
Oh, I'm sure she did.
Yeah. And she even asked to take his place in prison.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she did not succeed at any of that. He spent a year in prison.
No. She may have succeeded in one thing in there. She may have finally got that.
I don't know. I mean, he got popped for aggravated assault 13. I have a feeling he could probably, take care of himself. But yeah, that is like definitely that, overbearing mother. Because like if I ever did anything wrong, like, say I decide that I'm going to go out and start like murdering rude minimum wage workers that I seemingly keep coming across lately, where they're all just like being as rude to me as possible. And I'm just like, what? Say I decided to go on some sort of spree and take care of that problem.
Okay.
My parents would be like, nope. Yeah. Lock him up. He obviously he needs to learn. Lock him up.
Uh-huh.
My mom would not be like, let me serve his prison sentence. No.
Take me instead.
Yeah.
He didn't mean to.
Yeah. No, they probably
just mischievous.
If I'm not careful, my dad might testify against me just for fun.
Like on what's a Billy Adam Sandler movie, Big Daddy. His dad shows up to testify against him.
Yeah, I mean, my dad, he'd probably be like, "Well, if you wasn't so stupid to get caught, I wouldn't be up here.
This is what you
made me have to come up here on the week whenever I could be at home and go play poker. No, instead I got to come here to this court, throw the book at him.
Can I leave now?
Yeah. Could you just say he's guilty and we can get the hell out of here? All right. After he turned 18, so this was all before he was 18.
Man, what a life.
Yeah, so he turns 18, he gets out of prison, and he's able to enroll at Arkansas State Teachers College, which is currently the University of Central Arkansas. I don't know what their mascot is or anything, or even where it's at. It's Arkansas. Who cares? It is said that his classmates remember him for doing a bit of a crazy prank while in college in Arkansas.
Okay.
After his friend split up with his girlfriend, so you got your bro and his girlfriend break up.
Oh yeah, gotta get her back.
Yeah, Charles cut out pictures of her eyes and copied them and plastered them everywhere. It was all over their dorm room, on the walls, the ceiling, and in the men's room.
Copied her eyes, or copied the pictures of her eyes?
Her eyes, and then he copied them. Made a bunch of copies of pictures of her eyes, and then put them all over the place.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, that's kind of a weird prank. I mean, I get taking the piss out of your friends and stuff, but that one's kind of weird. It's like, I don't get it.
That's a lot of work for that.
I don't think anybody else really got it either. They're kind of like, oh yeah, that's different.
You really got her.
Yeah. He seemed to be doing well at this school as he worked on his pre-med courses until he got kicked out for stealing school property. Keep coming across a bit of a pattern here.
Yeah.
He likes to steal.
When is he graduating from mischievous to criminal?
I mean, technically he already did. He's already been in prison now at this point. After getting the boot from the Arkansas Teacher College, oxymoron. After that, he got married, and him and his wife had a daughter. And from there, he did a number of jobs. He was a hairstylist, a carpenter, and then eventually a teacher.
Of course he was. He got that degree.
Yeah. Well, he never technically did. So when he was 36 years old, he snuck into the offices of East Texas State University, which is now Texas A&M Commerce.
Okay.
Yeah. There he stole all the forms he needed to fabricate his education.
Oh, so that's how it's done.
Yeah. He forged transcripts, degrees, and a teaching certificate.
Okay.
Then he snuck back into the college's office and added his fake documents to their files.
Just like that, I graduated.
I mean, it seems like a lot of work, but I mean, like, you can't really do that nowadays unless you're like a really, really good hacker. And if you're a really, really good hacker or programmer, you could probably make a ton of money without going to college anyway, so it don't matter. Yeah. So,
true.
1969, Charles Albright was hired as a science teacher and assistant football coach at Crandall High School.
No fucking shit.
Which Crandall High School happens to be the same high school that two podcast hosts that actually host this podcast attended.
1969.
Yeah, then now, granted, that was like well before we were born, but it's still kind of a kooky thing.
Yeah. I'm sure my uncle or aunt who went to Crandall may actually had him as a teacher.
I think my cousin might have. I need to check though. I mean, he's kind of maybe. No, I think it was before his time actually.
What subject did he supposedly teach?
Science, and he was a football coach.
Football coach.
Yeah. Now, he was pretty popular among the students there. On field trips, he could identify every plant they came across by its scientific name or identify all the insects they would find. Like, he just knew all that crap. He memorized or whatever.
He's the only one who knew all that crap, so nobody could call him on his bullshit.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like that Catch Me If You Can stuff where he like actually passed the bar exam. And it's like, dude, you get stuck doing all the work anyway. So, but he was also the cool teacher because he drove a Corvette and wore lizard skin shoes, which, that time and place was like, lizard skin shoes, nice. That's, it's not just for pimps anymore.
Especially in Crandall being as small as it was at that time.
Oh yeah, it was stupid. Yeah, God, it was. Let's see, in the mid '80s, whenever I moved there's 1,001 people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
That sign's still up, believe it or not.
what, the 1,001? No,
Or in the area, it's like 2,000 something now, which
I
is
think I
way
want to say
off.
it's up to like 4 or 5. I thought. Oh well,
The
who
one
cares?
on our house is 2,500 something, which
Did
it's not
it
even
get
close to being right.
smaller? All right. Well, an administrator from East Texas State University looked into Charles Albright as he didn't recognize the name, and he kept finding it on the list of graduate students. Which, I got to first say here that like, how the hell does anybody do that? There are a lot of people that go to a college, and in my experience, nobody gave a shit who you were. They just wanted your money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm impressed. Nobody at any college I ever went to knew who I was, except for my professors, but that's about it. And only a few of them really knew who I was. Anyways, so they confronted him on it, and he admitted that he forged his documents. Since he was such a nice guy, though, they decided to spare him and spare Crandall High School's reputation, and they kept it
Until
all out
now.
of the newspapers. He pled guilty, and he got probation for a year. So mischievous. All right, hold on. I got a cough. I hope everybody enjoyed that.
It's wonderful.
All right. All right, now I've told the part that made me want to tell this story. The fact that, he taught at our high school, which is like, ooh, wow.
It should be a historical plaque outside or something.
Yeah. Now I'm going to jump into all the unpleasant parts. Years go on. He got divorced. Dell, the super horrible bitch mom, died. He met his biological mother. Wasn't really a lot to say about that meeting. He didn't ever really have much to say about it. All the time, he was popping in and out of prison and doing different jobs. He got arrested for molesting the 9-year-old daughter of one of his friends. And for whatever unfathomable reason, he got 10 years probation. I mean, it's like, all right, we're going to let you out. We're not going to lock you up. But if you harm and traumatize one more kid, we're going to put you in prison. Just one more. Don't do it again.
He must be the nicest guy in the freaking world.
He's known to be charming, but you also got to keep in mind this was like, older times where, there were certain things you got to slap on the wrist that were just weird. Eventually, he got a live-in girlfriend, and he was a regular with some of the prostitutes in Dallas.
Oh.
And they liked him. He would take them out for hamburgers sometimes. He would pay more than the going rate,
Pay more hamburger?
No, pay more than the going rate for the hookering.
We're gonna get that good hamburger.
No. He would take them out for hamburgers, but then they were like, say they were a $2 whore, he would pay them $3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, nice guy.
And then, I like the hamburger thing better.
Yeah. Then of course he would eventually end up killing 3 prostitutes. 3 of those prostitutes. Yep. Charles took a job delivering newspapers in the middle of the night, and he used that schedule to go out late at night without making his girlfriend or police suspicious. So it's like, wait, were you out at 3:00 in the morning? Yes, I was, for work.
Perfect cover.
He murdered Mary Pratt, Susan Peterson, and Shirley Williams. He would beat them, shoot them, cut their eyes out with surgical precision, and leave their bodies in the middle of the street.
Damn.
And it really, really was surgical precision. I saw pictures, and I wish I hadn't, but I saw pictures. and it was like they were just plucked right out of their heads. Like it wasn't like, it was just
Like a
out,
bunch of cuts. You could just tell it
just
was
gone.
perfectly taken out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Charles was an active serial killer from 1990 to 1991. The police were able to get 2 victims that escaped, his escaped from him, to identify him in a photo lineup. Their big evidence was finding his hair on one of the victims, at least according to some experts. Later on, DNA found that this was actually dog hair. So,
Oops.
their actual physical evidence wasn't good. That being said, there weren't any more people getting killed with that MO once he was locked up. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's one of those deals. Like, there's some true crime documentaries you'll watch where you're like, they know that this person did it. They absolutely know this person did it, and they can't get them on anything. Well, this was back in Dallas's heyday where they were like, whenever that DA kept throwing people in prison for stuff they didn't do. Apparently, he got this guy. He actually probably did it. So, it was one of those things where it actually kind of worked out a smidge.
Yeah. Hit and miss.
Now, what they never found were the missing eyeballs.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's what's going to ask about that.
Nobody has any idea what he did with those.
He freaking ate them.
What if he used them as suppositories?
He could have.
I don't know. I don't know. I kind of wonder if there's like some sort of like deer head that has like just like abnormally human eyes that are in there or something. I don't know.
Got green eyes, got contacts in.
Something. Charles was sentenced to life imprisonment and a psychiatric unit in Lubbock, Texas. So they were like, fool, you crazy.
Yeah.
So they locked him up there. He proclaimed his innocence until he died at the age of 87.
Died in prison?
Yep. I know that he was kind of like into artwork and stuff like that. I think I've heard that he like painting pictures of eyes too. I didn't find any of that, but I've heard it.
Do you ever say what his fascination is with the eyes?
No, because most of the time he's just sitting there saying it, like I didn't do it. I mean, I'm pretty sure that he did it, but he's like, I didn't do it. But I mean,
theories on why he was fascinated with eyes?
Because he's a fucking weirdo.
Okay, good theory.
I mean, that's the main thing I came up with. I mean, I think it's
okay. Well, since you're a true crime guy, has there been another serial killer who was obsessed with eyes?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Not that would pluck them out with surgical precision on every one of his victims.
Maybe put him in a martini or something. I don't know.
I mean, it's kind of weird because I imagine he beat him to subdue him. I don't think he was really getting off on the beating part. I think he would beat them to get them to not move, shoot them, because typically whenever you'd shoot them, he would shoot them in the head. And
back of the head?
Yeah. Well, I don't think it was the back of the head. I'm pretty sure he shot him in the back of the head. He'd shoot them, and then he'd pluck their eyes out. So, I mean, I do think he was killing them for the eyes. Because, he was trying to be quick. You beat the hell out of them to where they won't get up and run, and then you shoot them. At least that was what he was trying to do. He beat shit out of a couple other girls, and they just ran the hell off. They were like, bitch, I'm tougher than them, But, yeah.
Oh, well, that was very interesting.
Well, it's going to do it for Charles Albright. Now, keep in mind, I am not a true crime podcaster. I only talk about what I found interesting in any of that. And it was mainly his jacked up childhood and the fact that he taught at our high school. So if you want to learn more about him, definitely go and probably watch somebody else's video, because I'm sure that there's all sorts of really great deep dives on like every bit of it. I just really wanted to get to the part where he was a teacher at our high school. That was mainly it. That's why he's on this.
You told the story well. It was good.
I mean, like, there's on all these other ones, they'll talk more about like his fondness of eyeballs, which I did try to research that part enough, and I didn't find a whole lot of that. But yeah, there's ones that specialize in all that kind of stuff. We dip our toes, like we Here at Waywut, we just give you the tip.
Yeah, just
Yeah. if you want something deeper, a deeper dive, then I hope that we give you enough of a taste to where you can go out and find somebody that's going to like tell you what his shoe size was and like the name of his wife or whatever, because I didn't know, because I didn't care.
just as a tip.
Just
pretty
saying.
funny.
Yeah. Here, wait, what? We just give you the tip. All right. Well, all I can recommend for everybody is keep an eye on any science teachers you know, and join us next week whenever Jason will tell us about some stuff that'll make us say, "Wait, what?"
See y'all then.
Yep. Bye.
Later.
Thank you for listening to Waywut. We really appreciate it. Remember that we post episodes every Tuesday and would love for you to rate us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or Pandora. If you are watching us on YouTube, throw us a comment, subscribe, and do all the other things that YouTube likes for you to do. You can stalk us on Facebook and X/Twitter with the handle Waywut Podcast. Once again, thank you for hanging out with us for a little bit, and join us next time when we'll get you to say, "Wait, what?"